Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
Baseball fans, you're listening to Babes. Welcome to the first ever episode of Babes, everybody.
Woo!
We want to thank you so much for joining us for this monumental moment. I have with me my two sidekicks and co-hosts, Kelsey and Madison. A little bit later in today's episode, we're going to introduce you to ourselves as the host, and then we'll share a little bit about our background as baseball fans, and then we're going to tell you a little bit about our plans for the pod. So every episode, we will be kicking it off with an icebreaker question. This segment will henceforth be called Around the Horn. If you aren't familiar with this popular baseball term, it's a term that's used to describe a ground ball double or a triple play that starts at third, then the throw to second, and then the throw to first. It can also be used to describe when infielders toss the ball around following an out where no men are on base. So before we kick off Around the Horn, I do have a little surprise for you guys. If we can just take a quick pause. We have our very own merch.
Oh my god, I love it.
Too cute.
We have a trucker hat with our name, Babes, on it. And obviously you guys are getting one.
Thank you.
So cute.
And then
I'm obsessed.
Like maybe down the road we could share one with a lucky fan.
Yeah, do a giveaway.
Yeah,
that's
do some
a great
giveaways.
idea.
That would be very fun.
Okay, so I'll just keep this
So
on
cute.
from here on out, but don't forget that I had my Yankees hat on earlier, okay? All right. With that, let's launch our first ever Around the Horn.
Here we go.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, girls, this particular baseball tradition has been around since the 1970s, although it wasn't widely known until the 90s. So here it comes. What would your walk-up song be? I feel like we have to answer this before we can get too far into this podcast. Everyone needs to know this. So, Kelsey, what is your walk-up song?
This is a really good question. I think it tells you a lot about a person. So it's a great way to start to introduce ourselves to everyone. Honestly, mine could change daily. And I could go back and forth on this 100 times. So maybe ask me again a few weeks from now. But for right now, I'm going to go with a classic powerhouse tune, Whitney Houston's Queen of the Night.
You cannot go wrong with Whitney.
Right. So before I drove, and I used to commute on the train when I lived in New York City and in the city of Chicago where I am now, if I was having a bad day or feeling undermotivated, I would turn on the song in my AirPods and just instantly feel like I can do anything. So what better to have
powerful.
Exactly.
Yay. Perfect. Thank you. Mads, what is your walk-up song?
Mine would be Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. Someone actually, thank you. Somebody asked me this a few weeks ago. So it's funny that I'm getting asked this again. But I went to Billy Joel concert with my father 2 months ago, and it was one of the very last songs he performed. And the entire time I was scared he wasn't gonna sing it. I was he has to sing Uptown Girl. Why wouldn't he? And then he did, and I was screaming, and I have it on video, so I always watch it because it's just such a good song and it was such a great performance. And I actually got it like written in a neon sign that I have above my bed. So like
Ah,
Uptown Girl is just like that's my thing. It's my
I
song.
love that song. Like, save the best for last, right? So,
Yeah.
there's also just like something about the type of song that is a walk-up song, and that like it has the perfect like BPM, like it
Uh-huh.
just makes you want, it's like that moving forward kind of
Yeah.
jam
yeah.
to it.
And you have to get everybody up off their feet. Like, that's the perfect song for that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Jonna, what's
You
yours?
guys, I have been struggling with this so much. So, this question was posed to me a few years ago at work. It was an icebreaker question. I've been racking my brain ever since. Like, I'm just gonna go with what I said then. But I'm like you, Kelsey, like ask me again in a week and it'll change. Like, I'll be probably like jamming to Spotify for the rest of the week, trying to just figure out what my, backups are. So mine is Right Now by Van Halen.
Van Halen. That's another one you just can't go wrong with.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like something about that instrumental intro for me.
Yes, a good instrumental intro, always a good walk-up song.
Solid.
Mm.
Yeah. So
There's a
anyway,
reason why you picked it to start. Way to stick with it.
so now I have to ask, what would Babe's intro walk-up song be?
Now, like a current uh mm,
Like if Babe Ruth were suiting up this year, what would his walk-up song be? Do you want to hear mine?
hmm.
Yeah. What'd you pick for?
I picked Come Baby Come by K7. I don't know if you know that song, but it's
don't
like,
think I
come,
do, but
baby,
no.
come, baby, come, come.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
It's like
Ooh.
classic 90s.
Mm.
I mean, it's tough. If you want to think about it, come back next time, and we're going to talk about it again.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. What about what's that song like I Love You Baby? That like old song from
I love you,
Yeah.
baby.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Can't take my eyes off you.
Yes,
By,
yes.
by the Four Seasons.
Yes,
I like that one a
love
lot.
That just
that.
That's
like
got that
came to
same
me.
like driving cadence too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Madison. That's it. I love
Yep.
it.
I like that.
Good on the
I'm gonna
fly.
add that to my like Yankees pregame playlist that I have.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make a podcast, like Spotify, so we can make playlists and share them with our
We
listeners too. That would be fun.
Right? And then like everything that we talk about just like goes on there right away.
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
once you finish up
Yeah.
the podcast, you've got a playlist to listen to.
Perfect. Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. So, with that, we will be transitioning from our Around the Horn segment to our main segment. As I mentioned earlier, in today's main seg, we're introducing ourselves as the hosts. So, first question, I'm going to fire off. Who is your team? When did you first become a fan, and how did it come about?
Okay. As you can probably tell, my team is the Yankees. I became a fan of the Yankees when I entered this world. I mean, I didn't know what was happening, but I feel like about when I was in, I think, seventh grade is when I really started becoming like a big fan and like actually like starting to understand the game and like want to understand it. Like it was always on in my house, like no matter what, because my dad is a huge Yankees fan, my grandfather's. So it was just like always on, but I never like fully paid attention. And then it's like, huh, like this is kind of interesting. I like this. And now I'm just like the biggest Yankees fan like ever.
Yes, ever,
And
ever. Her
yeah.
handle is Major League Mad, you guys.
Yeah, honestly, like it expanded. Like first it was just Yankees, but now it's just like the game of baseball, like in general. But Yankees too, of course. What was the third question? I'm sorry.
So it was, who was your team, and then when did you first become a fan, and how did it come about? So I feel like you
Oh,
answered it.
yeah, I feel like I pretty much hit on that.
Kelsey, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I'm the odd man out. I'm the redheaded stepchild, both figuratively and literally, I guess. I am a lifelong St. Louis Cardinals fan. I became a baseball fan like Madison for as long as I can remember. I have been a baseball fan. My grandparents are from St. Louis, and my grandpa actually worked at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis in the 50s. So my dad spent some of his
Amazing.
childhood growing up there, and I grew up in Central Illinois, which is like the ultimate hotspot for the Cardinals and Cubs rivalry. My mom's whole side of the family is actually diehard Cubs fans. But of course, I made the right choice very early on, even as a child, and I went with the Cardinals. I got really into it, kind of like Madison said, a little bit later on, probably around age 10 or so was when I really started to understand the rules and like get into the analytics and follow specific players. And we would go to games at Busch Stadium too when I was growing up every summer. So by junior high, I had created St. Louis Cardinals fan art in good old Microsoft Word, which was like just becoming a thing. And I printed it out and taped it all over my bedroom walls. And I made my own scorecard. And so I like kept a scorebook in this 3-ring binder. I'm pretty sure I still have it in my childhood bedroom at my parents' house.
I love this. We have to like you got to dig this up so we can talk about it.
Yeah, we got to teach Madison what Microsoft Word is. Do they still
Yes,
use that
exactly.
these days? I'm not sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, I spent every day from like ages 11 to 15 during the summer watching games and keeping stats before I like had to get a summer job, you know?
The worst.
This ultimately, as I grew up, I stuck with it, and my love of the game has evolved and just grown, which ultimately led me to start my Peace, Love, and Baseball podcast, which is coming up on 6 months strong here. Just put out episode 21 today.
Woo!
So yeah, that's the other podcast that you can catch me on weekly on Tuesdays. And it's a lot of baseball, but it's a lot of good other stuff too. I have a background in performance, a musical theater performer, and in fitness. So I've got a lot of good connections through all walks of life. And we just talk a little bit of everything, but there's always your good daily dose of baseball in there.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm just having fun with it.
This is a girl with many, many trades, many talents. We love to see it.
Thank you. Tell us about you.
Okay, so I am a diehard Yanks fan, although I grew up in the Midwest. So it's kind of like everyone's like, how did you become such a diehard Yanks fan? So, I mean, what other team am I going to root for? Like, I grew up in the middle of Nebraska. It's like, okay, like Chiefs. See, I can't even name the right the Kansas City Royals. It's like, I mean, they weren't really good until I was maybe in college. And then, the Colorado Rockies, which like, no thanks. So, but my dad was such a huge fan. So like, I tell people that I was a fan from like conception on.
Shout out to dads.
Yeah.
There's the common theme here. Dads who watch baseball with their girls.
I love it. Yes. Mm-hmm. And that is what we are all about. Babes belong in baseball.
And they knew it.
So teach your little girls. Just raise them up right, dads. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't get really that deep about it, but my dad, thanks, Dad. My whole family are huge fans, and I think I was 7 when we won the World Series in '96. So like I was alive for all of those, for that 90s dynasty. And then obviously 2009. We are so overdue, aren't we, Mads?
Oh yeah. I've only seen one.
I know, like it's time. It's time. So
it is.
But yeah, just love my guys. All right. Next question. Who is your favorite player of all time?
I have a few. Like it's so hard to just pick one. If I had to
Okay,
pick
good,
one,
because me too.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'm like,
Same,
I
same.
can't pick one. Okay.
It's too hard. I would say Jeter if I had to pick one. Like that's an obvious answer. That's like everyone's answer. But I actually love Nick Swisher. I think he's so
I
funny.
met Swish last summer.
You're
Love
so
him.
lucky.
I got a selfie with him. We'll have
That's
to
so
dig that
cool.
up too.
Yeah, he literally like just seems like the most like fun person to be around. And just like there's just something about him, like his whole vibe, like so funny, like just I love him. And then who else? So it's Jeter, Swisher, obviously Judge, but I feel like all time is like weird since he's still playing. So like I don't know if I would say that, but Aaron Judge is literally my favorite person ever. Like
Yes, me too.
he's the
Great,
best.
Kels.
So I have to start with my first favorite player because the first player I really fell in love with, I feel like just has a special place in my heart. And that was a starting pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals in like the early 2000s, Matt Morris. I was full on obsessed. When I tell you that, I mean, I plotted his divorce from his wife from ages 11 to 14 because I was that sure that he was the love of my life. But my favorite
How's that
player of
going for you?
yeah, fortunately I gave it up about age 14 and I married another really hot guy, so it's all good. But my favorite player of all time, still gonna pick one. It has to be a duo because their partnership is so much of what I love about both of them. So I got to go with Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright.
Yes.
To have two players who are such staples and representatives of a franchise is always so special, and it's nearly unheard of these days. So their impact, not only on the Cardinals, but on the game of baseball as a whole, is going to live on forever. And I can't wait to continue watching their post-playing careers as well. So that's my answer. Yadi and Wayno.
I love Adam Wainwright. Like, I just have a lot of respect
You
for
gotta
the
love him.
guy. Yeah.
You gotta love him.
But like, I also, one of my favorite players ever, Nolan.
I love Nolan.
Nolan Arenado.
Nato.
Yes.
He's my guy.
Mhm.
He's everybody's guy. He's, again, kind of like a Nick Swisher, Aaron Judge. Like, how can you not love them?
Yeah, he's a good one. All right, mine is Derek Jeter as well. You know, growing up in the 90s, like if you don't answer with Derek Jeter, then like bye.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But you know, one of the more underrated answers I guess I could give is Bernie Williams. I love Bernie. I wrote a book about him in 4th grade. I still have artwork from Thanksgiving, 2nd grade. Bernie made the list for my thankful for. My siblings did not. So I was thankful for the Yankees, Derek Jeter, and Bernie Williams, my 2 siblings. Out. Sorry, guys. I love you.
Priorities in order.
If you're listening, I love you. But obviously, like now, I love Judge so much. Like just a stand-up guy. Just love him. I love Nestor Cortez and
I like him a lot too.
EJ LeMahieu.
I love all of them. I love Rizzo.
You guys are gonna love
you.
Harrison
And, like,
Bader just
Judge
more
was-
and more.
I
my
was
God.
about to say. I
I meant
so-
to
I
thank
love
you.
Bader.
Like I meant to thank St. Louis for the gift of Harrison Bader.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
best
He truly
thing
is a
ever.
gift.
He really is. He's just
love-
he's so New York now. Like I
He
don't
is.
want to like hurt your feelings by
No,
saying
he
that, but
is.
like
And he is
he
going to
just-
come alive in New York. So
Mhm.
I'm happier than ever for him
Mhm.
because I'm really excited to see him just thrive in New
Yeah.
York.
He's got that fashion game.
Mm.
hmm
And the Yankee fan base will appreciate that more. So
Fair.
I'm glad for him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're right. I feel like
Yeah.
that is going to be a better fit in New York.
It's all
All
good.
right. Cool. Well, most memorable fan moments.
Ooh.
This is tough.
Uh,
Madison, what you got?
well, I would say the 2009 World Series, because obviously that was the first and only World Series win I've been able to see. But I was also 6 or 7 years old, so I don't remember much from that. So, my favorite, other than that, I'd say my favorite fan moment was, I have a few. So there's Old Timers Day. I think it was 2019. I went with both my grandfathers and my father, which is like super special. Hopefully we can all do that again next year. But it was like such a nice thing, like to just to be able to do that, like something I'll just cherish forever. Like such a great memory. The Yankees lost that game, but I don't care. And then I went to a lot of games last season. One of my favorites was when Judge hit his first walk-off home run. I was right like down by the third base line, and just seeing that in person so close, like I recorded it, best video I've ever captured. That was amazing. um I was like crying because I'm dramatic. And then ALDS game 5, I ended up going to with my brother, which was really cool, seeing them advance to the ALCS. And I wasn't even supposed to be there. Like I've done so much like crazy stuff for the Yankees last year. I'm not gonna like get into it all right now, but taken a lot of bus rides home from school, like 4 or 5 hour bus rides, just to see them. Go to 4 games in a row, miss class to see Judge hit 62. Crazy things.
The
But
dedication.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, fun times.
Lots more to be made.
Hopefully.
Definitely. Okay, Kelsey.
So I saw 4 Albert Pujols home runs in person in
Stop.
2022. Let me say that again.
Wow.
I saw 4 Albert Pujols home runs in person in 2022. I started watching Albert Pujols play for the Cardinals organization in 2000. So
Right.
22 years later, I saw him hit 4 home runs in person. 3 of them were in St. Louis. 1 was at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and I live in Chicago currently. But 3 of those 4 home runs I saw with my dad at the game with me, which is what made it so special. Like I truly felt like I was 12 years old again, watching Albert Pujols hit home runs with my dad, and we were just losing our minds. The best one, honestly, was in an August game at Wrigley Field. It was a shutout game, and he hit a solo home run that ended up being the 1-0 winning run when Jordan Montgomery, thanks Yankees,
Yes.
pitched a full game shutout for the Cardinals. So if I had to pick one, that's my favorite one.
I miss Monty, and that was one of the biggest, I think. Well, we got Bader, so it's fine, but like that really sucked. I love
we won both ways, but we both also, gave up a little piece of ourselves for it.
Yeah.
But we've also like lovingly renamed him. The St. Louis Twitter fan base has renamed him J Money, so that's what we call him over here.
I haven't heard that. Wow.
We
That's what I call him.
Or we had Jameson Tyone, and so like while we had Monty, we had JMO and Monty, so we couldn't call him JMO.
Really
That never made sense to me that we called Jameson JMO instead of calling Jordan Montgomery JMO. I don't know. To me, that just made more sense. But what do I know?
What is your favorite baseball moment?
I have a few. But when I was 5, the Rockies Coors Field had just broke ground. They just opened. It was going to be their first season. It was during the strike in 94. Well, like 95, spring of 95. And so they did a little an exhibition game before the season was going to open. Obviously there was a strike, so they didn't open anyway, but they had a little exhibition game with the Yankees, and it was in like end of March, I want to think, or like beginning of April, maybe. I don't know. It had to have been March, I guess. But in any case, Buck Showalter, who is now the Mets manager, was managing the Yankees. And I was like 5, and he came and handed me a bat in the stands. But not
Wow.
only that, I snuck down past security like at the very end of the game and like was standing right beside the dugout, and they tossed me a ball. So I have like my brother who's 12. I'm like, about to be 6, and I'm like walking out with a bat and a ball, and he's probably just like, that's probably his worst day. Because like, I don't deserve this. Like, I don't even know what's going on right now. But
That's so funny.
so that was like from that day on, I feel like that was a staple moment for me to, really turned me diehard. So ever like after that, all those 90s years, I would like put my little lucky bat by the TV. Family would be like circled around watching, and I just always thought that was my lucky bat. I still have it, and I probably took it to like every show and tell for the first 3 or 4 years of school. So that, and then I was a volunteer last summer for the MLB All-Star Week.
No
in
way.
Denver.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. So there were like 600 volunteers or something like that. And of the 600, 30 got selected to go participate or like just to go to the draft. And our job at the MLB draft was just to like cause chaos. Wear your fan gear, like just be really loud, and you're going to be on the cameras for ESPN. And so that was my job, like just to be like a loud fan. So
Amazing.
that was amazing. That's where I met Swish, got a selfie with him. And then Yankees prospect Trey Sweeney, he's a shortstop prospect. I got a selfie with him. He was their
That's
top
so cool.
pick.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So that's like my more recent, but I just have so many to, but I'll keep it at that.
I feel like
Love
every
those.
time you go to a baseball game, even if it's not a game of like your team is playing in, it's such an experience to go to a game. And that's part of what makes it America's pastime and part of what people just love about baseball, even if you're not like a diehard fan. So it's no surprise that, every time you go to a game, you feel like it's a memorable moment.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, like you said, it's like a lot of these memories involve our family, grandparents, parents, siblings. And so like it's really special that we get to share these moments with them and just pass it on.
Right.
Yeah. I actually have a list that I keep, which is psychotic, I think. But I keep it on my phone. This is my list of all the games I've been to, like who's hit a home run, which game, if they won, if they lost, what the score was, literally everything about the game, like who was pitching, what team we played. It's insane, but yeah,
it's not insane.
That's
So,
awesome.
Like, it's amazing. And you have to write a book with all of that, right?
Yeah, I probably do have to do that.
Yankee scrapbook.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I love that. That's so special.
Thank you.
Last question. What are your predictions for the season? Kelsey, do you want to go first?
Yes. So my predictions, I guess, specific to my team that I follow, I'll give you those because that's what I know most about. I am so excited to see Adam Wainwright play one more year. I know Cardinals fans are a little bit split on this, but I hope he has a comeback year and the retirement tour that he so deserves. He ended the season with some mechanical issues last year that he was super upfront about, and he's just got some unfinished business that I know he is anxious to attend to. I also have a big prediction that Tyler O'Neill is going to have a comeback MVP candidate type of year. Putting it out there, mic drop. I said it.
She said what she said.
I said what I said. I also hope that the Cardinals get to see Nolan Gorman reach greater potential. I know a lot of Cardinals fans are really excited about our top prospect, Jordan Walker. And of course, I'm excited about that. I think it's a little early on, maybe just yet, for him to have the kind of year that we know he's ultimately capable of having. So maybe I'm thinking like 2024 for that. I think Gorman has still got some greater potential at both second base and, of course, at the plate. So maybe not time for Jordan Walker yet, but of course, I'm looking forward to that too. And as you mentioned, to kick things off, I'm also just really excited to see all the teams play each other. And I think the thing I'm most excited about with that, other than just getting to travel to different places and see all the different teams, is to see how it's going to affect the winning percentages this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what's
I'm so excited to see how that, hopefully excited. I don't know. But, as I was reading articles about that, just think about how fans can go see their teams probably more. They can go visit new cities and just see teams they wouldn't typically see. Like, I really want to go see the Yankees play the Dodgers, which isn't something that happens all that often. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. It should be interesting. I think it's good that they're doing that this season or going forward.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
As for
sorry, Mads.
Okay, so my predictions. I'm going to start with an Aaron Judge prediction because I kind of have to. This might sound crazy. I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I think I see him possibly getting close to his record and maybe breaking his 62 home run record from this past season. I know that's so many things would have to go perfect for that to happen. But I don't know. It's just like a little gut feeling. Other than Judge, I think the Yankees are going to have a good season. They always do. I see them for once winning the ALCS and going to the World Series. I don't want to jinx them because I'll cry and I'll look back at this and I'll hate myself for it. But I saw something on Twitter this morning saying there's this guy who predicted who's going to win the World Series every year, and he's been spot on.
I've seen that.
And it's the Yankees year now. I was like, okay, let's see.
He's been spot on for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Watch, now we'll lose it. But I don't know. I think the Yankees are going to have a good season. I think the pitching is going to be better. Bullpen just has to be good. Hitting has to be good in the postseason. But I think they have what it takes, even though they have some problems in left field and third base. But I don't know. I think it'll all come together.
Yeah, I love your prediction on Judge, but I do hope if he does it, that he does it early enough that he's not butting up at the end of the year, having to play every game to get it all in like he did last year. I feel like that really shot us in the foot when it came to postseason play.
It did, yeah.
Yeah. So my prediction is that the Yankees are going to be chauffeured down a confetti-filled Broadway in November. Sorry, Kelsey. But I am just so excited to see what happens this year. Aaron Boone, what season is this? His 5th or 6th?
I think he started in 2018.
18. Yes. Okay.
18.
So it's his
6th. Yeah.
And there have been a lot of hiccups in the postseason road, but I am hopeful that he is figuring things out and will figure out how to manage effectively in those games. And so that's my prediction on that. I think Nestor Cortez is going to have an all-star year again.
I'm here for that. I second that one.
Just love that guy. And he's a
awesome.
vibe too. He's such a vibe.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things that I saw on a broadcast was when they had him and Treviano at the All-Star game.
When they were mic'd up.
That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I've seen anything like that, and it was really cool. They did. I'm sure they weren't even thinking about it, but they handled it so well, and it was very cool.
Yeah.
That was so fun. That I love when they do that and they like mic them up. Um, they're like, gotta go, like ball coming.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I love that. But as far as other teams go, like, hey, I hate to say this, but I am a little bit worried about the Red Sox.
Mm.
I mean, obviously they finished like last year, but like they've revamped and so have the Cubs. Like they're a hodgepodge, but I'm excited to see what they do.
I do think that the Cubs are going to be second place in the NL Central, and I think they'll be a little bit closer than maybe we anticipated. That's my Cubs prediction.
Yeah, I like it. Like the Red Sox have veteran Justin Turner. I like the guy. I hate to see him go to Boston, but what are you gonna do? And then like what's happening with the Dodgers now? I mean,
I don't know.
like everybody has left. I mean, not
Hmm.
everybody. Like obviously they have Mookie and but like I don't know. It's
It's
gonna
just
be
weird.
interesting.
Yeah. Seeing Cody Bellinger on another team is going to be pretty weird.
Yeah, yeah. So he's a Cub.
Yeah, I'm really interested to
Yeah.
see if he makes the most of the opportunity that the Cubs have given him. So we'll see how he
Yeah,
does here in
he's
Chicago.
pretty lucky to
Yeah.
be swooped up as he was,
Yeah.
given his performance the last few years.
Right. And
Hmm.
obviously he has the capability, but timing is everything. And we'll see.
Yeah, time will tell.
It will.
Okay, so we have made it to the final segment of our first ever episode. It's
We
been one
made
for the
it.
books, you guys. It has been one for the books. This has been so fun. Um, so we will be calling this final segment Ruth's Rundown. In Ruth's Rundown, we'll be highlighting a few of the latest headlines in baseball, and then we'll close it out until next time. So, as many of you know, we're just days away from spring training. Pitchers and catchers are set to report between February 13th and the 16th. And then, as we mentioned earlier, this year is going to be one for the books. It's the first time ever all 30 teams will play each other. And that means division teams will play each other just 13 times rather than 19 times. So, Kels, what is new in the Lou?
Well, the biggest and latest news is that third baseman Scott Rowland was voted into the Hall of Fame just this past week. And that was, hopefully a long time coming, something we were all really hoping would happen. And of course, a huge moment for him and his family, very well deserved. So Cardinals fans and baseball fans alike, I think we're super excited to see that big announcement for 2023 in the Hall of Fame.
And fans, if you haven't seen the video, go watch the video of him and telling his mom that he made it in. Like, it is the most heart-wrenching, heartwarming, just the sweetest video, and how cool that she's still here to celebrate with him.
That kind of stuff is the best. I love when they share stuff like
It
that.
is.
Yes.
And you see that it's just as special for them, like in a way, you can only relate to in telling your parents, something like, I got my dream job, or, can you even imagine the equivalent of being like, I got into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right.
What? So the other big offseason move for the Cardinals, of course, was that they signed former Cubs catcher Wilson Contreras.
Yes, that's a big
Yadier
hit.
Molina. So we've got Contreras coming in, which I think we all feel really good about, obviously performance-wise, but just a good culture fit. So I like that a lot. And I think most of the fan base is pretty on board with that. The Cubs and the Cardinals are also going to play in London this summer, which is exciting. I get to go. My sister lives in London, so I'm super pumped for that. That's kind of like my big baseball journey for this year.
We'll join you.
Yeah, I'll be live on assignment in London this summer. And other big news kind of on the media side for the Cardinals is that Chip Carey, who is the grandson of the infamous Harry Carey, was announced as the new TV voice of the Cardinals. So very excited to see that we've got somebody like that coming on board, hometown guy who's going to be, of course, a big part of the fan experience for the upcoming season.
Absolutely. So he's been with the Braves since 2005.
Yeah.
So that's so a lot of people, not Cardinals fans, obviously, but a lot of people associate Harry Carey with the Cubs, right?
Right.
But people don't realize he started with the Cardinals. So very exciting that you get to bring his grandson into the fold. So I actually have a little quote from Harry Carey that I would like to read off, if you guys are cool with that.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Can you read it like Harry Carey?
No, absolutely not. Okay, he says, it's the fans that need spring training. You got to get them interested, wake them up, and let them know that their season is coming. The good times are going to roll, he says. The good times indeed are going to roll. I am so glad we get to use this podcast as a way to like wake the fans up, as Harry Carey says. So
Yeah, that gets me hype.
I know. So what a legend. I'm glad you shared that piece about the Cards news. Mads, what's the latest with the Yankees?
Oh, well, Chad Green is now a Toronto Blue Jay. I was kind of upset about that, but biases and opinions aside, we have Rizzo back with the Yankees. He was re-signed. Judge, obviously, I hope everyone knows by now that he is a Yankee forever. Who else? We have Rodon. The Yankees got their pitcher, hopefully another ace. I don't even know. They haven't done as much as we would have wanted, but they've done enough, I think, to get them where they need to be. Like I said before, they're still struggling at third base with Josh Donaldson and left field with Aaron Hicks, trying to figure out what they're going to do there. I think they pretty much know now. They said it, but then they have their young guys like Anthony Volpe and just I don't know. They don't all, yeah. And then Cabrera, who obviously has been playing for them for a little bit. So they have a lot of options, and I think they're just gonna wait it out and see. But the biggest news, to me at least, and I know probably to you, Jonna, Aaron Judge is the 16th captain of the New York Yankees, and that literally is amazing and such a fantastic thing for this organization, the fans, and obviously for him.
Yes, that was like staple moment. So exciting. As you said, I think it's going to be one of those years that they just wait it out to see what happens during spring training, to see what, how they're going to fill the void, or not the void, whatever, what they're going to do to cure the issues at third base, what they're going to do in left field. So time will tell.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really interesting.
Oh, and Tommy Kahnle. I forgot about Tommy Kahnle.
Yes, Tommy Kahnle has returned to the Yankees. That is very exciting, and the bullpen will continue to be the powerhouse that it was last year.
Yep.
All right. So
what you got for us?
All right. Well, there are some teams out there that have made some very ambitious moves this off season.
I guess.
What? The Rangers, they went from having one of the worst rotations to possibly one of the best. They signed Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney, and then they traded for Jake Odorizzi. So
they also now have the Cardinals' former pitching coach, Mike Maddox, is their new pitching coach. So I think he came in and said, "What are you going to give me to work with?"
Exactly. Yeah.
It's only DeGrom.
Right.
It's like they're trying to make some moves there. So good for them. We'll see how they do with that. The Phillies stunned all of baseball when they signed Trey Turner, one of the best shortstops out there. That was big. What else?
I think I was most stunned that they signed him for was it a 13-year deal?
13-year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what was most stunning about that. The Phillies have obviously put it out there. They're going to spend money. They're here for it. It's obviously working for them in a lot of ways. The 13-year deal was what just set the shortstop market on fire.
Bold.
And then it kept going.
Yeah. So here's hoping that their opponent's water works when they go stay in Philly.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right. So the Rays just extended Yandy Diaz. The Astros replaced a struggling Yuli Gurriel with Jose Abreu. The Padres fell short on a deal with Judge, but they did sign Xander Bogaerts. That's a huge get. And then they got Matt Carpenter from the Yankees.
I don't like
I mean, he wasn't really ours anymore, but they got him.
Yeah.
So, and then the Red Sox, like I mentioned, they've completely revamped their bullpen. They signed Kenley Johnson, Chris Martin, Southpaw Joely Rodriguez, and then they brought in Jansen's former teammate, Justin Turner, as I mentioned, as their new DH. So they're probably going to be a lot better than they were last year, which isn't saying a whole lot, but so we've heard a lot of former Dodgers names in that bunch. What is Dave Roberts' bunch going to do this next year? Like, is this like a cleanup year for them? Like, what's happening down there?
They are a very well-run organization, I will say, and they have a deep farm system. So they've also been waiting on all of that Bauer madness to really know how they needed to balance their books and all of that. So I don't know how much of a role that played in everything in terms of the moves that they've been making, but I still have no doubt with how well-run that organization is that they'll make some noise this season. They'll still be in the running to win the division for sure. Yeah,
that division is always strong, and it's going to be like the Padres, they're loaded now. Giants.
I'm most interested with the Padres to see how they have structured all the different players in positions that some of them have never even played before. So that to me I'm just really curious about how it's going to play out for them. And I think it's madness over there. Honestly, I almost said in our predictions segment that I don't think the Padres are going to make it to the championship series. So that would be, maybe if I was going to make another prediction, that would be my prediction.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
I think they might be a hot mess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And I know they've got so much power and these big names, love Machado, love Soto, but just not sure how it's all going to come together.
Speaking of Machado, where's he going to go next year? Do you think they'll re-sign him? Does he want to stay there? I mean, it's probably going to depend on how this year goes for them, but
yeah,
I think this year
I heard we might be looking for a third baseman.
I think Machado has serious Yankee vibes. I'm here for that.
I mean, I thought we were going to get him when the Padres got him, but here we are.
Yeah. I don't know.
We never would have gotten ourselves into this Josh Donaldson mess.
Somebody tried to tell me on Twitter the other day that Josh Donaldson is better than Nolan Arenado.
Stop it.
And I didn't even respond because I was like, is this a joke? Or...
That's not even trolling because of how unfunny and stupid it is.
Exactly. Yeah, and I just can't acknowledge things like that.
The level of inaccuracy there.
Right.
Yeah. That's a horrible trolling job if that's what they were trying to do.
Right.
Terrible. Okay, you guys, we are in our final minutes of our first episode. We do need to give a couple of birthday shout outs before we go. So without further ado, this is Babe Ruth's birthday week, and we didn't even know it when we were planning this out. We didn't even know it.
Coincidence?
Like, I think not. So happy birthday to the Sultan of SWAT, the Colossus of Clout, the great Bambino, and the inspiration for our podcast, Babe Ruth. Apparently, February 6th is a special day. It also happens to be Kelsey's furry friend's birthday. And I'm going to let Kelsey tell you how this little guy has a special connection to the babe.
Yeah, it's a really good day to be born. And I wish I could say he's a little guy. He's not a little guy. My cat is 23 pounds. He's a huge guy, but he was born on the same day, February 6th, as Babe Ruth. And he was rescued from the shelter that I got him from. He was rescued and found in the hood of a car in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, New York, in the BX, you guys.
So is he Babe Ruth reincarnate as a 23-pound cat? I'm not going to say no.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So we at least need to change his middle name to like Ruth or Herman or something.
Yeah, I'll have to find a way to put it in there.
Yeah.
Get him a little Yankees hat. He can be your good
Right?
luck charm.
I love that. Yes. He'll have like a little Cards jersey, a little Yankee hat.
He
Perfect.
can be a fan of both teams. I would say I've been to probably as many Yankees games as I have Cardinals games, so I'll support Raja as a Yankees fan. He is
Perfect.
from the Bronx.
We will take Raja in. All right. Well, this week also happens to be my dad's birthday. And as I mentioned, he's the whole reason I'm here. He gave me my pinstripe blood. So happy birthday to my dad too.
Happy birthday. And my sister's
It's also
birthday.
okay. I was gonna say while we're giving
We're
birthday
at it.
shout outs, my grandpa's birthday is also this week, and I feel like I have to give him a shout out because it's my grandpa who's a Cubs fan, and so I don't want him to think that I love him any less because he's a Cubs fan. He's still a baseball fan, and most importantly, a really great grandpa and dad and human. So
Oh,
happy birthday even to the Cubs fans out there.
Happy birthday to all of our fans who have February birthdays. We'll give another shout out next month to our March peeps.
It's always good to have something to celebrate this time of year while we're waiting.
Exactly.
baseball.
Yeah. Happy birthday to my little sister Taylor.
Aw,
Taylor.
happy
Little baby.
birthday, Taylor. All right. So our fans have noticed a little theme for the pod. I guess they can start calling us the Queens of Crash. We're going to be all over the board with topics and they'll never be bored. So we cannot wait to touch on everything from stadium foods to women in the industry, our favorite players, which we've already done a little fair amount of today, but maybe even the strangest rules that have ever existed in baseball. All right. Before we say our final goodbyes, Kelsey, I have to point out how amazing your seating is tonight. Like, what
thank
the heck?
you.
She's sitting in St. Louis Cards stadium seats, like
I am.
authentic.
I am sitting in some Busch Stadium 2 seats that my dad bought for me when they tore it down and replaced it with the beautiful Busch Stadium 3. So now they live here with me in Chicago.
Absolutely incredible. I love them.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's definitely like my favorite piece of memorabilia that I have.
Yeah,
those are really
that's
cool.
fair. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. You can follow us on Instagram at Babes Podcast and on Twitter at Babes Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at 90s Yanks Kid. Kels, where can they follow you?
I'm on Twitter at KBirdTweets, bird like BURD, KBirdTweets. And I'm on Instagram at peace.love.baseball.
And don't forget to go listen to Kelsey's podcast, Peace, Love, and Baseball. And
Yeah, you can find
Madison,
me.
where can fans follow you?
Wait, I'll let Kelsey say what she's gonna say.
Sorry.
I'll pass it right back to you. I was just going to say, you can listen to Peace, Love, and Baseball on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Just search Peace, Love, and Baseball, or, find it on my socials. Mads, where are you at?
I am on Twitter at Major League Mad with 2 D's at the end. And TikTok, same thing. And then my Instagram is mad.eisen.
What's TikTok?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
Can you?
You're going to be our
teach us?
TikTok
Can you
representative.
teach us
Yeah.
the ropes. We'll teach you Microsoft Suite 95.
Yeah. We'll
Deal.
do a little, good deal.
Okay,
Yeah,
good
oh my
times. Please remember to like, subscribe, and catch us again wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, root for your team. Any team, just a team. It's baseball, Susan.